And welcome in to Pit Lane Pour. Hello, guys. We are starting a whole new podcast now. We've revamped, re-upgraded, and started new. Along with that, we are going to be speaking today about these new Formula One rules and regulations for 2026, guys. How you guys feel about that?
Exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it changes things up a little bit.
You know, I am too. We'll see how this goes. So let's just dive straight into it. So there's going to be, 3 different buttons now on the steering wheel. So we're going to have the boost button, the overtake mode button, and of course the recharge button. So I think that gives us a little bit more for the drivers to kind of figure out, I guess. I mean, it's going to be more of a even playing field. What would you think on that, Michael?
Well, I think some of it's gonna have to do with being so very strategic of when you actually hit the boost button or the overtake button to give you that extra advantage or whatever that it may possibly give, you know?
Yeah. Tim, how do you feel about
Go
those
out
3
there
new
right away
buttons?
and just be pushing the button.
I think that I like the concept of how the teams will have the opportunity to configure certain buttons for the different tracks when they could use them. They want to use them for a full lap or, certain scenarios. But they're definitely going to have to be careful with when they're going to harvest the power and when they're going to boost the power because the cars and the engines and the battery all going to be even killed this year compared to what it has been in the past. It's
So
going to be
with
a
that,
juggling game.
it's going to be interesting. I mean, I guess with 3 new buttons and when to use it, how to use them, all the practice that has to come with the 3 buttons. I mean, it's going to take a lot. And I think it's definitely going to be an even playing field all around, unless a driver has used those type of buttons in a different kind of race vehicle. I mean, I don't know much about IndyCar, but I know they have certain buttons almost similar to this. So, I mean, maybe, I don't know, do I remember correctly, has Alonso raced Indy before?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
I'm not
I'm not
sure
sure.
either, but I think
I
if
know
he has, then he might have a little slight advantage.
he might.
All right, well, let's go right into it. So the boost button, they say, it has a few features. They can either use it at a full power, like you were talking about, Tim, or at a designated power that the team configures for personal choices. So like you were saying there, I mean, it's really going to depend on when they use it, how they use it, how everything's going to look. So also with that, in theory, they can use it to help defend from a car that's attacking them from behind, and they can use it to kind of also attack that car that's in front of them as well. So, but it's going to be interesting because when you use that, say going into a corner and you got you got 3 cars, it's not going to be a DRS train anymore because we don't got no more DRS.
No, and they're supposed to allow for closer racing as well. With getting rid of that DRS because DRS is gone now.
That we're going to cover in a second. So with that boost button, Michael, how do you feel about that boost button? How do you think it's going to play out with different drivers?
Like y'all said, I think it's gonna come down to being very strategic of when you're gonna use it. Especially if you elect to do full power when you hit it. But I'm gonna be curious to see, like you said, as far as it helping fend off somebody coming from behind, or even giving you a little bit of attack power going forward. I'm gonna be curious to see how much it pulls a car more forward during that aspect of it. Because we've had several races this year that were pretty close between certain places. A lot of them was between second and third place.
That's true. Tim, how are
They
you
don't.
feeling about that button?
Well, I'm curious. They don't technically say the amount of like boost that you might get from it, like you used to get from DRS. No, there was a certain, you know, we'll say mile per hour for us that they would gain off of it. So I'm really curious to see if it's going to be harder to overtake. Like, are we going to have more racing in the corners? Oh, I love that. I love that. But like, part of me feels like they're not going to be able to just blow by like they used to in the straights. But again, that will just depend on if they're harvesting power and then one's boosting power, then yeah. I don't know.
In that aspect, I mean, why don't we go into the overtake mode, Michael? You know much about that one?
The overtake mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is completely new for 2026. It's basically saying that it's a power aid designed to deliver closer racing and boost for overtaking opportunities. I guess which we kind of hit on just a minute ago, but it's also similar to the DRS and the fact that they have to be in the 1 second window at the detection point, which is normally in the final corners.
How do you feel about that, Michael?
I think a lot of it's just, like I said, we're just going to see how different drivers and different teams use them and when they use them and how they use them. I think it's going to be a lot of trying different things, possibly during practice sessions, maybe even in the simulators if they can do the same thing in the simulator.
Do that. I mean, also the cool part about it is it allows the driver to recharge an extra, I think they said it was a 0.5 megajoules and generates an additional electrical power profile to allow the drivers to sustain a higher speed for a longer period of time. I mean, that right there just intrigues me a little bit more on it because, Tim, you were talking about overtaking and how this boost button might affect that. But I mean, with this overtake button, what do you think about that?
I think it will allow the battery possibly to recharge. But in my mind, it's going to do the same. Like it's going to be more effective in the longer straights, right? Like when they're running flat out, that's when they're going to really see the most benefit from this, which sounds just to me like DRS, but they'll have certain zones, I feel like, just like DRS, that it will be allowed to be used. So maybe it's going to be more efficient. Maybe it's going to be more efficient so that, DRS causes so much dirty air. So maybe with this, it'll be more efficient. So where it's still going to be dirty air, but it won't be as turbulent, maybe, which will allow that closer passing or whatever.
And then they're also saying that it'll take you can use that overtake button the next lap when you're charging that 0.5 megajoules. So that could be interesting. And I mean, they also say that it's gonna come with it should deliver a greater effect on closing the distance in between two competing cars. So I mean, yeah, with DRS you get that really closeness, but I think you could possibly use this overtake maybe even more into a turn. Not
Maybe.
fully sure until we can fully see it, I guess.
Sound like very high-end technology. That's what it sounds like.
It sounds interesting. I mean,
It
we'll
does.
see how
Yeah.
it goes. I mean, everything's going to be new next year, so we're going to be seeing all new everything. I mean,
Mhm.
just like this recharge. Tim, do you know anything about the recharge?
Yeah, a little bit. It seems like it's very similar to the way that the batteries would recharge, uh, in the cars that we're already familiar with. A lot of like lifting and coasting will help recharge the battery a little bit quicker. Um, Also talks about like super clipping, right? So super clipping is when some of the harvesting of the power would happen at the very end of the straight when the car's going full throttle, flat out. But of course, it's going to depend on the circuits because a lot of circuits don't like, or some don't have long straightaways, you know. So the ability to recharge will be a little bit more limited there. So I feel like that would definitely affect the other two.
Now, did you say they could recharge while braking as well?
Yes,
Okay, that'll
it
be
and
interesting.
all that's going to be controlled by the ECU.
Will you elaborate ECU as not an acronym for our viewers that don't know what that is?
Okay, so um, it's it it's just like in a car, right? You have the electrical control unit, right? That would just it's like the brain, right? So the brain of the car, you can set different function modes of when to recharge with this button. You know, I think that might even be based on what part of the track that it's at, because these cars are like so smart anyway, and the way that the teams would configure it. So I think we're we're going to see different teams play with those harvesting powers differently, of course. So that'll be interesting. I think it'll be really interesting. And since now the engine and the battery are 50-50 as in powering the car, then you're definitely going to want to keep that battery charged as much as you can for helping defend or helping to get a greater boost or whatever the case may be there. So, as in before, there was more engine power than there was battery power.
How are you feeling about that recharge now that they can do that?
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how much of a recharge it allows, especially like when you're braking, because their braking and going is so short. Because you're barely braking when they go into the curves, and then it's just flat out hit the straightaway when they hit those. So it'd be interesting to see how much of a recharge, so to speak, it gets off of braking and even just not really having your foot on the throttle either.
Hey, let me add something real quick to this. Have you guys seen Formula E? Anything about it?
Not yet.
I haven't
Okay.
looked yet.
There are certain recharge zones on the actual circuit, right? Where they can like run wide in a turn and it'll actually help recharge the battery. I'm wondering, since we're going toward more battery, like even power with the car, if we could almost see something in Formula One implement a little bit of that. I don't know if they would have something like a turn where they could recharge, but maybe as they're going into the pits, they could have a little space where it would recharge the battery. I don't know. Future talk. Just want to throw that out.
With how they're currently going with more of an electrical vibe with the car and more fuel efficient, I mean, maybe we'll see more stuff like Formula. I mean, the little that I have kind of viewed of it, it's more. And I would like to see more passing in Formula One. I mean, I'm definitely sick of those DRS trains, and I definitely know we're getting away from that.
Oh, Alonso was the king of them.
Yeah.
Tim,
Love that guy.
will you also hit on the active arrow?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't mind at all. Okay. So Active Arrow is really cool. So basically,
What happened?
Tim?
Yep. Lose you guys.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're
you did.
back now.
Am I back? So
Yeah.
sorry. So sorry.
We lost Tim again.
Yep.
Michael, can you go on that? Hold on. It's saying
Yeah.
Tim
So
is
that
wanting back in.
the front and rear wings, they will adjust depending on where they are on the track. Whether it be in a turn or in the straightaways. Sorry, Tim, I kind of took over after you
Hey,
leaped out. So,
no, you're fine.
but I think it's going to be a really kind of cool thing that they just adjust on their own as you
It's gonna be
hitting
pretty
different
sick.
places on track.
It's gonna be pretty sick watching it just going into turns compared to being in straightaways. Tim, what's your thoughts?
Sean, you kind of glitched on me there. What'd you say?
I said, what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, the aero stuff? I think it's neat. I think that I think it's really cool that we're taking two different air cars and making them into like the new version. Taking two different types of technology. We're just going to throw them on a car. They're going to be adaptive, right? So they pretty much will adjust on their own based on the way the air is. So I think it's going to be cool, but at the same time, I'm so old school. I don't like certain kinds of technology, and I feel like as fragile as these cars are, it's gonna affect some of them really bad. Like if we're hitting wheel to wheel, and we've seen where the end plate comes off, and the cars were fine. Perfect example: Charles Leclerc ran better times with his end plate off than he did with his end plate on in like a race this year. But what happens when his front wing can't adjust to the air? That's a completely different story. I really think it can have an effect on these cars. Plus, it's going to increase the value of replacing parts, which could potentially hurt some teams who are on the lower end of the spectrum.
All right. So quick little hold on. Little transition. Let's talk real fast about what everybody's drinking tonight. Let's start with you, Michael. What are you drinking right now?
Going with the trusty garage beer, and I got this cool little new koozie that came with some shirt I got or whatever. It's like Carl's Bar or whatever in Texas. So, uh,
Don't tread on me, baby.
so garage beer, of course.
Well, it looks like we all have the same agreement on beer tonight, boys.
Yeah.
Beers all around.
So, Michael, when you're drinking a garage beer, what are you thinking about? What's the thing that you think most when you hit that first sip of garage beer in your mouth?
Well, since the green can is also the lime flavor, I love the little bit of lime flavor I get on it and everything. Makes the beer, like, I wouldn't say more drinkable, but for me, I really like drinking a lime beer. So props to Garage Beer for making a lime beer.
Tim, your turn. I'm a little frozen.
Okay. Yeah. Garage beer. You have that initial lime flavor. Hits your tongue. It is so refreshing and great, great, great summer beer. When it's super hot outside, easy to drink, goes down smooth. You're done with the can before you know it. It's not a very high alcohol beer. It's only 4%. So you can drink a few without, you know, feeling unsafe. You can still
Gotcha.
function. You can still go about your day while
Gotcha.
enjoying a beer.
All right, all right. Well,
We lose old Shawnee boy.
Yeah, we lost him. So also too with garage beer, they have an original garage beer that is in a semi-silver colored can.
Kind of like a cream
Um,
color.
it's really smooth to drink too.
It is. Fun fact: only 95 calories for anybody who's trying to watch their weight and wants like a lighter beer, but still want that craft beer flavor. You know, they're small
And
bag,
three carbs.
3 carbs. Not that I'm watching my weight or anything, but if I was, it would be a go-to.
I
Definitely
don't know.
one of my favorite new beers that came out.
I'd definitely say since you guys have turned me on to this garage beer, it's a game changer. Has to
It
be in my
is.
fridge all the time. Haven't tried the OG yet, but definitely the lime is where it's at.
I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. It's still good quality. It's just so hard. Like once you've had the lime, it's hard to go back
Yeah.
for me.
It's very hard to go back once you got that lime.
Yeah, I love lime
And
flavor.
you got to remember too, the garage is always
Hey, did
open. You
you
can't really
guys
read it on the
tell
thing.
the viewers
There we go.
who helped with that?
The garage is
Brothers.
always open, boys.
No, go ahead, Tim. Why don't you tell us?
Good old Kelsey brothers. If anybody's
Oh
not
man,
familiar
did
with
y'all
them,
both freeze on
they're
me on this
NFL
one?
players,
Trying to read.
and they have teamed up to help promote this small brewery that is growing. thanks to their investments and everything. So props to
Well,
them.
let's give them a little.
Way to
Thank
go.
you to the Kelsey brothers. All right, well, let's transition on to the last few topics as we wait for Michael to come back. It seems like we're all three having a little issues tonight.
Oh, must be something going on.
Must be something in the air, man. Maybe it's them. What did Tony always call them?
Yeah, what?
Where they're spraying in the air.
God, I know what you're
I
talking
forgot
about.
what the word is, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's probably
Yeah,
that.
it's probably that.
Probably that. That's probably what it is.
The government's trying to take us down.
Well, while we're waiting on Michael, let's jump right in. Tim, it looks like with the wheelbase, because I know you're just talking about the wheels and everything, the wheelbase is going to be 200 millimeters shorter. Tim, will you elaborate on how many inches that is shorter than for us American dummies
Yeah,
that
so
don't understand millimeters?
American dummies, including myself, is 7.8 inches. So we're talking about 7.8 inches shorter, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's definitely going to, be less air that's going to have to travel through there. So that'll be good.
And with that, the width will be reduced by 100 millimeters. Tim, you want to give us them inches?
3.9. 3.9 inches.
3.9.
So we're looking at 4
3.9.
inches wide and 7.8 inches long.
You know, it's almost like 4% alcohol.
Almost.
It's 3.9.
Right.
It's got a little bit less alcohol in it.
So if we have 4.9, okay, so 3.9. So we'll say 4 inches. And then the other car has 4 inches. And then the other car has 4 inches. I mean, could we see another car trying to go wide?
Are you talking about like that four wide?
Can we go for 5 now? Can we go for 5?
I mean, I think it's gonna make it a little bit more interesting when it comes to say like Monaco, maybe.
Hope so.
Just a little bit, not much, but just a little bit.
So
I mean, just tracks like that, I can see us getting a little bit more close and a little bit more risky on pushes, I guess, and passing. I mean, especially with all the 3 of the new buttons.
I have a love-hate with Monaco.
Me too.
I respect it because it is Monaco, and it has been such a pinnacle race, but because of the size of the cars, it has greatly reduced my excitement for Monaco. It's pretty
Agreed.
much it's pretty much unless you're undercutting somebody or you're qualifying absolutely great. It's just a boring race. So I'm hoping when these new changes, it will be a lot more exciting. Hey, buddy.
I 100% agree.
The whole internet went down for some reason.
Hey
Oh,
man, like I told Tim, it seems like all three of us are having a little issue tonight.
right, right.
Man,
So catch you up, Michael. We're talking about that 8 inches different shorter and 4 inches about shorter on width, and we're talking about how it might help a little bit more with passing when it comes to Monaco, and how Tim also has a love-hate relationship with Monaco.
yeah.
So Tim also made the joke of maybe we can go 5 wide instead of 4 wide like we did this year.
In turn one. And Max don't have to go off the track.
I mean, if it's only 4 wide, he won't be able to go off the track this time.
I know.
Got 4 inch difference, man.
That save. Oh my gosh. That save was incredible. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm getting off track.
All right. So with that being said, then we go to we're going to be going to those long ground effect tunnels will be removed now, and then there will be a bigger diffuser and new barge boards. How do you think that's going to affect it, Tim?
I don't think that because they talked about them being flatter, right? So if they're flatter, I see that as the floors will be less sensitive to damage, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I mean, the floor's still going to be critical, but I think it'll help. I think that's what they'll do to help create more speed, and because they are going to be losing downforce. I don't know. It's a toss up. I could be wrong, but I do think it'll make them less sensitive to damage.
Well, I mean that's going to also add a part with the narrower front wings,
Mm-hmm.
with with the more movable elements we've already gone over.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a new shape with the rear wing with movable elements added as well, which we've already spoken about. And so the wheels are going to stay the same though. They're going to stay 18 inches for the Pirelli tires, but they are going to be a little bit narrower. They did not give much facts about the narrower end measurements, but they're saying that it's supposed to help with less drag and less weight, which means car go faster.
Do you think it'll cause more sliding with a smaller wheel?
I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to see.
I'm curious about how much they're going to slide around the turn. Where kind of like a drift, like if they're pressing too hard, like on a qualifying lap, could they spin out more? Could they slide into the opponent more? I don't know, man.
I mean, definitely if it's raining, that's a big likelihood, but who knows?
Who knows? They're also going to be still staying with the 1.6 liter V6 turbo hybrid, but now they will be so they will remain with that. But the complex MGU-H will be removed with new advanced sustainable fuel, which sounds a little different and interesting.
No fossil fuel.
So that may be interesting and see how that goes. But other than that, that's pretty much all they said was going to be new so far.
Can we go back to the front wing real quick?
Yeah.
I want to ask your opinion on this. This wing that moves, they gonna like this is a question, and then there's a reason I'm asking this question. Will the air adjust the wing itself as they're moving and turning and twisting? Will the wing just move to the flow of the air?
That's
Or
going to be an interesting fact to look at. I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens in testing, to be honest. What do you think, Michael?
will they have the ability to move the pitch of the wing?
What do you think, Michael? What do you think on that one?
I agree. I think we're going to have to see what happens with the first, few qualifiers and everything, but I'm just really looking at well, it's got the picture of it and everything too. It sort of looks like it's going to be a free moving thing depending on how the air is,
I can see
That
that.
was
especially on the one that's on the rear. Now, I don't know about the one that's on the front.
that was my thought because if they had the ability to move it, then they would have to have wires or a quick disconnect plug
Mm-hmm.
to be able to control little motors in there, right?
Yeah.
So if they damage the front wing, it wouldn't be so quick to get a new one on there. You know what I mean? To an extent, they could come up with a quick plug and play, but they would still have to have power running to it so that they could adjust it. And then maybe it'd be like they could map it to the track. I don't know. They're so smart and there's so much technology.
When you zoom in on it, it really does make it seem like it's like a free moving part, especially right there in the back.
Hmm. Yeah, because
So,
the back, the if we're calling it tiers, like tier one, tier two, tier three, tier one or tier two and three are connected, right? And then tier one's independent.
yeah, they're independent.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna have to wait and see what happens during the practice runs in a couple
Then,
months.
of course, here's what the front's going to be like. So, it'll be interesting to see how it does.
So I mean, we'll have to see how that goes, but it's gonna be an interesting setup, guys, with all these new rules with the
Hmm.
new cars. But I mean, that makes it more interesting for all the new vehicle engine types coming in, like Ford and General Motors will be coming in 2029. They've announced that now. And then, of course, Honda is staying around for a little bit longer and different things like that. So, I mean, makes it more interesting for everybody and makes it, I think, definitely more even playing field.
You bring up some interesting points there. Honda is going to stay, but they are solely only going to be powering one car company, one team,
Aston
correct?
Martin.
Aston Martin, yeah.
I
Just
mean, I
like
think it's smart. I think it's a smart move with that with Newey, with
so
Newey
too.
being the guy for the vehicle and got all the designs and everything.
And so then that means that Red Bull will be the only one that's powering the Ford.
And if we look at it, the last vehicle that only carried a different engine than anyone else was Kick last year, and that was with the last Renault that we will ever see in Formula One for future comings.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So I mean, is Red Bull and Aston Martin in an issue with being the only engine supplier solely with those two, or are they going to be more dominant than, say, a Mercedes, a Williams, a Ferrari, because they're all running each other's engines? So we'll have to see. It's going to be a lot of different changes, different rules, and everybody's going to bring their own different upgrades.
If you were to predict either one of you, is it going to be an advantage or a disadvantage?
What do you mean? Elaborate real quick.
Being the only person on the grid running that engine or being a customer of one of the suppliers that's on the grid with you?
I'll let Michael answer that first.
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, depends. I don't know. I really don't know. I could see where it might could be a little bit of an advantage, but I don't know. It's just gonna be hard to see and tell and whatnot. But I don't know. Be interesting to see. I really don't have a way one way or the other on it.
I think with Red Bull being so far behind with upgrades and pushing into this new car for this upcoming year, after putting in all that effort into the car last year, I think they're going to be behind, especially with a new engine coming in with it. Honda, and with Aston Martin already knowing they were going with Honda, they've possibly already started working on all that, so I'm not worried about them too much. But as a sole proprietor, say like a Mercedes or a Ferrari, I don't think they're going to give tips or anything to the other teams that have their engines. And I think that's an advantage to them. And I think that's a disadvantage to the other teams. But on the flip side, say Williams, who's running, I believe, a Mercedes engine next year as well. What if they come out strong and have all these cool upgrades that Mercedes doesn't, and they start dominating? It could be a plus for them too. It's just we're gonna have to see after the first, I'd say 4 or 5 races, and see where everybody's lands.
Right.
But I mean,
Let's just remember that Ford has been in racing for many, many years, and they are also in other racing leagues as well. So they
just
might
have
be
to see.
new to Formula One, but not new to
We'll just
racing.
have to see. But with
And
General
you,
Motors, though, General
yeah,
Motors, real quick though, they will have a slight advantage in 2029 after seeing all the rules and regulations coming through, and they've been in with Indy, so they may have a slight advantage when it comes to an engine wise.
and can we talk about where that engine's going to be built?
Charlotte.
Maybe North Carolina. I'm excited.
It is about that time to get off this podcast, boys. So I'm going
It
to
is.
hit you with a quick cheers.
Cheers.
And we will hit with that little.
Sean said only. There we go.
And we are out.